What's up, guys? It's Animanga, and we are back for the continuation of the facility arc, and we're going to get right into it. There are only 28 duelists this time because I personally decided to only put 3 from my side in. I thought, what the heck? I'll give you all a better chance at winning. No, I'm just kidding. I just felt like 3. I don't know why. I just couldn't. I already put most of the people I wanted to put in the first part in the riot. So let's go. Starting with Serenity Spider Monkeys. Crew. Hayden. Zeta. Hayden, have not seen her in centuries. Hayden's been falsely thrown in prison for assaulting an officer, punching him in the stomach, and breaking their jaw. How have they been falsely put in there then? Did they do all that? Or did they break Hayden's jaw? Is that what you're saying? But no, I don't think that's what you're saying. But what? How are they falsely put in prison when you just outright just said what they did? They punched them in the stomach and broke their jaw. You know the law. You can't assault an officer. That's immediate jail time, Hayden. No, I don't really know. That's just interesting to me, the way that was said. Mitch Chan. Mitch Chan wants to break her out because she reminds her of her boyfriend Koji. That's correct. Okay. Mitch Chan asks her friends Serenity and Miyumi to help. Jamie. Jamie is short on spending money. Jamie Shea infiltrates the jail to take the money from the corrupt cops to buy a remake of her all-time favorite horror game. What is that? And being the good friend she wants to break Hayden Chan out of jail too. And Mayumi, who's literally the doppelganger of Jamie. They are the same. They're the same. They have the same pick and everything. Jamie and Mayumi are essentially the same character. That's why they do not have lore. And Serenity Wheeler, just here too, her lore was already explained. So that's Serenity Spider Monkeys 5. Now we're on to Jammy Jams 5. Haven/Justice. Haven/Justice is helping direct half of the innocent escapees to his castle. They will be able to work for him under his Brains project. Aggravated that Chad is here and trying to block them. Dang it, Chad. Chad Princeton, which we didn't even know. Your former last name was not Princeton, but that's interesting. Yeah, fun fact, Jamie wanted me to personally build Haven's new deck. So I personally built it exactly the way that I thought it would do the best, without being too OP. So there's Haven. Angelica. Angelica noticed what? Angelica noticed his brother? That can't be. Angelica noticed their brother, or her brother, was missing and followed Rosaria and Brutus and found him and Noah directing innocent people into a tunnel leading to the castle and jumps in to help. Begins laughing when Trudge brings in the device to stop people from using more than one synchro. So there's a device? Is that what we're going with that stops them from using more than one monster in their extra deck, not just synchro? For you see, the reason I did that is because it would be mismatched. What if there's like a deck full of 15 fusions? A deck full of 15 fusion monsters, but the synchro users only get to use 3 copies of one? Nah. So for all the extra decks, only 3 copies of one card. Noah Alternate Dimension Noah Kaiba. So this is obviously a great rework of Noah's sprite. It looks really clean, like you got the colors right. The hair looks solid. Pretty good. Noah Kaiba, which is from an alternate universe where he has a good relationship with his family, is working in Justice's lab on the Brains project, while also trying to figure out the Victoria situation. Well, he's definitely smart enough to handle this, but is glad to finally be able to get a break and stretch his legs to help rescue some innocent prisoners. He hears about this universe's Noah and is ready to show how much better he is. Well, I made Noah before he was killed by Serendi's character, apparently. I made Noah to be good. He was very good in this lore. So he was already good. But the problem was he got killed by Serendi's character, and then he got revived by Mitchell and his crew. And then his deck was all terrible. His original deck, which is, this deck is somewhat back to his original deck, mostly actually. But Jamie Jams upgraded it a bit. It's back to the Shino birds, so fitting for him since he does run spirits. Rosaria Blaze. Haven't seen her since the very first 5Ds tournament. Rosaria Blaze, don't tell your sister Samantha never to come back with that broken Lancia. Rosaria Blaze followed Brutus because she was worried about justice and instantly noticed him in his disguise. Excuse me. I had to sneeze. She senses something wrong with her dual disc, but can't tell. Helps lead the innocent to the castle. So is the castle underground? Because they're like in a facility. Where is the castle? How does the castle connect to the facility? That's what I want to know. Chad Princeton got chewed out by his father. I want to see Mr. Princeton. We've only seen the brothers and, Chaz and his brothers. Chad Princeton got chewed out by his father because he didn't show off and lost at the party. He kind of did show off. He had one of the most infamous duels on this channel's history, on What If Series history. He was sent out of the house today and saw the breakout and decided to go play hero and stop the escapees from escaping. Not caring about the innocent ones. I had to reword that a little bit, sorry. Alright, that is it for Jamie Jim's crew. Now we are on to Nitrod's crew. Christopher Shadow. After managing to help the dragon runts break out and convincing the rampaging dragons to focus on escaping rather than continuing to riot, though Chris is pretty sure Trudge is so fired for this. Well, I have a point about that later. But pretty annoyed, he is back to round one. Oh, but pretty annoyed he's back to round one out again. Yeah, me too. He's gonna try, but you gotta admit, that duel against my sister was epic. That was quite the comeback. He's gonna try to see what he can do to make his armed dragons flow better. But that will have to wait. After seeing how something strange is making everyone unable to use more than one synchro. It's different. It's just one extra deck monster, not just one synchro. Good thing, because it would be mismatched with the fusions and the synchros. Good thing he didn't try out synchros at the moment. Spike the Dragon. After a hilarious confrontation with Garble, Spike managed to convince the rioting dragons to focus on fully breaking out and rallying the dragon runts, who seemed to be following him as leader quite easily. After seeing how everyone is unable to use more than one synchro, I think it was. Spike is weirded out on how he's unaffected, but decided to switch to his GX deck, just to make things fair and the fact he has no time to fully whip up a deck adjusted to the one synchro rule. He had quite a funny moment with Miku with the duel. Just ended up being dancing. What? Just ended up being dancing. Small galaxy eyes hugging him. What? Dancing small galaxy eyes hugging him. What? I'm trying to imagine that in my brain. Unfortunately, the fun is mucked up by Sylvia, who showed up with shockingly Daniela and Ricardo. I forgot about them, though they aren't dueling on screen, to cause chaos. That was... Sandbar the Earth Pony. Have not seen them since they bricked in the semifinals of that one tournament. Sandbar, along with the rest of the Young Six, were helping Spike and Chris break out the dragons in the Young Dragon runs. Things were so wacky and chaotic, Sandbar is pretty sure he saw an important official getting yeeted far away. Too much Mimi stuff. Embrace chill. What? They took out a certain dark magician fusion, since apparently it's not working. Mal blames this on dumb Master Duel AI. Well, break the fourth wall, why don't you? He hopes he can do well in helping Spike, especially since he is pretty angry after finding out how Sector Security is treating others. Yeah, me too, man, me too. Sector Security needs to be stopped. Let me get some water real quick. I need water. Water is the source of life. Yona the Yak. Haven't seen them in a little bit. Yona will help little dragons escape. She is, in fact, really enjoying this huge fiasco because she gets to smash stuff. Heck, she flipping rammed into Trudge and sent the poor fool flying. Did she? I'm not sure you can even reach Trudge right now with his guards. Must be a new record too. Lol. After finding out the cruelty that Sector Security is doing, she will smash them to pieces and help Spike bring the corrupt to justice. And send those crazy weirdos, aka Danielle and Ricardo, currently attacking the facility flying. And Gallus the Griffin will finish out his crew. Gallus couldn't help but feel sadness in seeing how people are in the slums, reminding him of his situation in Griffinstone. And seeing what Sector Security is doing to them left him quite furious, especially in seeing innocents locked up, and after seeing how many of Spike's kind got locked up, especially the younger runs. Gallus is going to help Spike and friends as much as he can for this injustice, though he is laughing his behind off at how the dragons easily broke out of the containment and wrecking up stuff. And now, we are on to Lego's crew. Ready? After a drink of water. Wild Dan, Danny Everett, the true leader of the Blast Brigade. He tends to take in young orphans to protect them and try to get them off the streets. Unfortunately, one of the members of his gang betrayed him and snitched to Sector Security, leading to the bus that landed the brigade members here. Wild Dan doesn't blame the member that snitched, as he's sure that they had their reasons. He's reached the point where he's had enough of being here. However, especially now that Andy has been captured too, his own daughter. Those scum. He sees this as a good time to have a word in quotations, with the higher-ups, and then leave to go back home. I like Wild Dan. He's cool. And I used this pick for my GX Season 5 arc I did, like several years ago. I used it. He was the coach at Duel Academy. Sandra Gray. Sandra has been trying to put out an article about Sector Security's corruption for weeks now. Oh man, she's the big reporter instead of Carly here. But it keeps getting blocked by the rich families that are helping fund them. That, combined with that fiasco of Justice attacking one of her co-workers during their interview, has made Sandra a very busy woman recently. Wait. So she personally knows Sayer. She had to share an office with Sayer. That had to be uncomfortable. Very. Especially when he goes to the back office and you can hear him laughing, kind of like Light Yagami, laughing about his cult and stuff. He's like, this is gonna be great. I'm going to assemble all the psychic children. And you're like, what, bro? Is this guy crazy? Should we have him as a reporter for us? Should we be worried about that, Bob? Anyway. However, when she heard Diana mention that Dino wanted to check out the slums, she knew there was a good chance this could go badly. Because of that, she joined this mission to bust out her daughters and their friends. She hopes that this will give her enough material to show people the cruelty Sector Security. The cruelty of Sector Security enough to cause a change. Okay, that makes more sense. And maybe tried to see if she can have Justice get some consequences for what he did as well. Is Justice ever going to have consequences? He's kind of one of the main characters, so... Brutus Stabsworth. Sir Brutus Stabsworth. Have not seen him in a Stone's Age. Brutus was alerted to Justice going missing by the night girls after their mission to the slums. Deciding it was no doubt because of the sector's security in that area, Brutus doesn't really mind sector security's existence. In fact, he slightly respects their torture methods, albeit he would, wouldn't he? Albeit he'd likely never actually admit it. He has begun a raid on the facility with the other knights, since it is still operating without permission from the king, and has even arrested him. Yeah, well, different jurisdictions, okay? It's like the FBI and Homeland Security meet. Andy Everts. I'm sorry, no, they're both government entities. It would be like the FBI and the local sheriff's office battling. Andy Everts. Andy was acting essentially like a rabid dog as she was brought into the facility. However, that calmed a lot as she finally reunited with her adopted father, Wild Dan. She was mixed on staying back with the others to help Dino, or going with Wild Dan to go after the higher-ups. However, she made her decision after hearing that one of the higher-ups there would be Trudge, the man that locked her and her family up in the first place. She's after revenge this time and is sure that Trudge won't be able to stop her for a second time. She's seen what he can do, even if he tries to hide behind these dirty tactics, like leaving her with only her colossal fighter. Unluckily for him, that'll probably be all she needs. I mean, knowing her skill, yeah, that's probably all she'll need. Freaking Zachary Adachi, the man who caused Zero Reverse. Well, one of the men who caused Zero Reverse. But he unknowingly, he didn't unknowingly do it. He just kind of did it in GX. Zachary was actually living like a king in his brief stint in the facility, thanks to the fear the other prisoners had for him being the heir to the Adachi clan. However, he's decided he's lazed around long enough and should probably finish things up here. He believes the others won't be able to manage this escape plan without him after all, and that the heads of this facility, DO, need a... What the... Oh, I don't know. Sorry, there was something on my phone. Excuse me. He believes the others won't be able to manage this escape plan without him after all. Of course he thinks that. And that the heads of this facility do need a beating for thinking they could lock him up for a long time. Yeah, we're on to Mitchell's crew. And here's a familiar face. Oh boy. The guy who tried to lure Jaden in with money. U.S. Navy Admiral Nemo, a close friend of President William Uriel, who enlisted in the U.S. Navy when William won the presidency. When was that? How long has he been president? And quickly acquired the rank of admiral. Vice President Jerry, my boy, contacted him after visiting the facility and asked him to travel to Neo Domino City in his submarine and rescue some innocent folks. Jerry found in the facility, excuse me, that was period. The president and vice president also asked General Viper to accompany him. Oh, that goon. A few URIA agents boarded his sub once he arrived in the city to help with the rescue mission. Other agents are already inside the facility, waiting for the Admiral to contact them when he arrives there. U.S. General Viper. The plan Jerry and URIA came up with to rescue the innocents from the facility involves them escaping in Admiral Nemo's submarine. General Viper was asked to ride with the Admiral and assist in this. The two of them pick up some other Uriah agents upon them arriving in Neo Domino. and then set sail to the facility. On to the facility. Land ho! Once they dock there, Viper charges into the facility to find Jerry and deal with any troublemakers. And now Alice Uriel and Alice White. Both Alices board Admiral Nemo's submarine when it arrives in Neo Domino City. Alice White is worried because her sister hasn't returned from her pizza delivery, and Alice Uriel is one of the key players in the rescue mission. Alice Uriel has updated her deck with synchros, while Alice White has a new deck altogether. Michael Uriel, Mitchell's main boy. He also boards a submarine, as he wants to make sure his sister doesn't get hurt while inside the facility, helping lead everyone there. Wait, they are rescuing to the submarine. Okay. Wisteria is remaining behind at the Uriah headquarters and monitoring the situation alongside the Admiral's daughter, Kami. Angela, it makes sense as his daughter, honestly. Angela and Pearl are also on the rescue mission, while Perry and Lila are bringing a Neptunian spaceship as backup in case they can't fit everyone on the sub. Captain Tetsuo Trudge. Tetsu Trudge. Why did I say Tetsuo? Tetsu Trudge. Can't believe the scum ever bailed so much and pushed him so far back that they have almost broke through his prison defenses, his legendary prison defenses, which have garnered him many awards and accolades throughout his career. Gotta call in his big boss of the facility, or else Lord Kaiba X will have his hide and fire his butt. Plus, if this fails, he won't get that cushy job guarding the current Master Faster, aka King of Games. Yeah, lots on the ride for him. And now, the man on the thumbnail, and the man from the facility, Officer Armstrong. You remember Iron Chain Dragon, don't you, from the anime? Trudge's right-hand man, an expert torture guru. How many torture gurus are in the facility? My sister, probably a few others. Freak, dude. Once made a man stare at a lava lamp for 15 hours straight with no blinks. He's scary, and the prisoners back off slightly when he pulls up to the scene in his motorbike. Yes, he rides the motorbike inside the facility. He was also kind of tough in the Willy Breakers game. If you don't know how to play when you're first playing as a teenager, he's actually kind of tough if you don't pay attention. The bigger monsters were more intimidating back then too. But Jack, I beat Jack in like one try. It was my first try. The only ones that ever gave me trouble were Akiza, and Akiza was the last hard one. The freaking night guy, Ransborg, was very difficult for some reason. Hunter Pace was easy. Who else? Who am I missing? And Armstrong was hard. Anyway. Okay. Officer Armstrong. Yep, that's him. And now, the final new character. I'm laughing even thinking about it. Oh, here it is. Oh. Whoop, technical difficulty. Whoop, there it is. Oh, who is it? It's Officer Crowler. After Zero Reverse happened, he somehow survived the blast by hiding underneath his desk at Duel Academy. Figuring he was out of a job, he went looking for work and found the facility. Was one day from his big promotion to co-captain when he had his keys stolen by Armstrong and given to a dangerous prisoner to escape on purpose. Of course, the prisoner was captured, but later on it was revealed through a videotaping that it was Crowler's keys. Of course, Crowler was pointed out as being the cause of the rebellion, which means he immediately lost his promotion, and now he's out for revenge. He honestly just wants to crush Armstrong. Or if he sees Armstrong crushed, that will be very fitting. Very amazing. Of course, this is an edit, so I'm just using a weird edit of Crowler. But I hope you guys like these 28 characters. That's them. And let's get ready for the tournament, shall we? See you guys for the tournament. Remember to like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. Channel's name's Anime Manga. Bye, guys.